Pamela, Toto, praised by music lovers everywhere, yet often dismissed by music snobs who conveniently overlook the fact that many albums in their own collections, albums they do approve of, were in fact played on, in whole or in part, by members of Toto themselves. Whether you like this band's music or not is, of course, a matter of taste. But if you do have an appreciation for Toto, I'd suggest you keep watching. Because today, I'm once again presenting you with an ultimate dilemma. If you were only allowed to pick one song, would it be Rosanna or Pamela? Two classic Toto songs, two tracks with a woman's name in the title. Let's take a closer look at both and see if that makes your choice just a little bit easier. Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of We're Only in It for the Music, a YouTube series that takes you through the musical universe, from ABBA to Zappa and everything in between and beyond. Click the like and subscribe buttons, and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss an episode. But enough of that, never mind the bollocks. We're only in it for the music. Granted, Africa is considered by many to be the ultimate Toto song, and honestly, I can completely agree with that. There's no real reason to debate that here. But on Pick One, we always look for two choices that are a little closer together than Africa, the so-called cradle of humankind. That's why in this episode of Pick One, the choice comes down to Rosanna or Pamela. I do have to admit, though, of all Toto songs with a woman's name in the title, Mushanga is by far my personal favorite. Not so much as a name. I don't personally know a single woman called Mushanga, but purely as a song, I consider this composition to be pop perfection. That said, today, we're not choosing between Mushanga, Leah, Anna, Angela, Goodbye Eleanor, Manuelea, Run, or Juliana, and we're also not looking at the lesser-known or instrumental Toto tracks with female names like Carmen, Chelsea, Lorraine, or Marilou. By the way, has anyone ever considered putting together a Toto-themed album built entirely around all these female inspiration sources? Either way, let's get started and see where my choice ultimately lands. And be sure to play along at home by voting in the poll in the Post tab. I'm very curious to see which of the two you pick. Rosanna. 1. Composition and structure. Rosanna is a classic yet ambitiously constructed pop song. The track opens with a long intro built around a shuffle feel and unfolds through a traditional pop structure. Verse, chorus, instrumental bridge with modulations. The song contains multiple sections, yet everything feels organic and logical. At no point does anything feel like filler or unnecessary. Not a single note is overplayed. The song is musically complex without ever becoming inaccessible. 2. Rhythm and groove. The iconic halftime shuffle, played by the legendary Jeff Porcaro, often simply referred to as the Porcaro Shuffle or Rosanna Shuffle. This groove is based on the drumming styles of Bernard Purdie and Led Zeppelin's John Bonham, but executed in a completely original way. The groove carries the entire song. Even without vocals, Rosanna would remain compelling. Historically, this is regarded as one of the most studied drum grooves of all time. The drum pattern is known for its clear jazz influences, featuring ghost notes and a feel derived from the Purdie Shuffle, John Bonham's Shuffle on Fool in the Rain, and even elements of the Bo Diddley beat. It's no coincidence that Porcaro cited Steely Dan's Home at Last as a direct inspiration. 3. Melody and vocals. A high register and demanding vocal line, yet at the same time incredibly catchy. The chorus is instantly recognizable without ever becoming shallow. Bobby Kimball strikes a perfect balance between power and control. During this period, he was in absolute top form, an exceptionally strong vocalist. It's also worth noting that guitarist Steve Lukather handles a significant portion of the vocals in the verses, which adds to the song's overall dynamic. 4. Production and arrangement. The production of Rosanna is layered yet remarkably transparent. Horns, synths, and guitars complement each other perfectly. Every element locks into place like a puzzle piece. The dynamics are textbook pop. Restrained in the verses, expansive and open in the chorus, exactly what you'd expect from a pop song, executed at the highest possible level. 5. Lyrics, perspective, and content. The narrator is accusatory and searching. There is frustration in his voice, albeit subtly expressed. Themes, longing, miscommunication, and guilt. The lyrics revolve around unspoken conflict. Emotional stance, externally focused. You, Rosanna, are absent and elusive. This is anything but a sweet love serenade. The pain stems from misunderstanding. The tone is lightly dramatic, almost cinematic. Functionally, the complexity of the lyrics perfectly mirrors the song's complex structure. The narrative moves in tandem with the musical shifts. In short, Rosanna is a song about friction, between people, and between emotion and control. 6. Cultural impact. A worldwide hit and a Grammy Award winner, Rosanna has become synonymous with Toto's artistic peak. The album Toto 4 is widely regarded as one of the absolute highlights of the band's catalog. Rosanna remains a technical masterpiece that also works on an emotional level and continues to captivate. Okay, now let's take a deep dive into the song Pamela. 1. Composition and structure. Pamela is tighter in form. No iconic porcaro shuffle this time, but it does feature an irresistible groove. The song is composed according to the classic pop format. In contrast to Rosanna, Pamela contains fewer sections and relies more heavily on repetition of verses and choruses. Precisely for that reason, the song sticks with you after just one listen. It settles in immediately. The bridge is functional rather than surprising, though the musicianship is excellent, as you would expect from a Toto production. Strong point. Pamela sounds crystal clear, radio-friendly, and remarkably timeless. 2. Rhythm and groove. The song features a more straightforward pop groove. Like I said, no porcaro shuffle here, but the groove is still phenomenal. Professional is a term often associated with Toto, and it certainly applies to the rhythm section on Pamela. Everything sounds incredibly tight, though it's less distinctive than the legendary shuffle on Rosanna. The rhythm supports the song perfectly, but it doesn't drive it. 3. Melody and vocals. A very strong AOR melody. The chorus is instantly singable, but the absolute highlight comes at the very end of that chorus. The descending melodic line during the lyric "for the one who leaves it all behind." That moment is compositionally beautiful, even if many casual listeners aren't consciously aware of it. I'll return to this particular section in more detail later, because this detail truly deserves extra attention. Joseph Williams sings with control and clarity. His voice has more attack than Bobby Kimball's. Especially in the verses, Williams deliberately adopts a more staccato approach, allowing the lyrics to be phrased perfectly within the rhythm of the song. 4. The chorus of Pamela. At first listen, the chorus sounds like classic AOR, a stable harmony, open chords, a clear vocal line. But then comes that one line, "for the one who leaves it all behind." And that's exactly where something crucial happens. So, what changes musically? 1. A subtle descending melodic line. Where the chorus up to that point feels rising and open, the melody suddenly begins to descend. Not abruptly, but gradually. It feels as if the song literally exhales for a moment. 2. Emotional friction. The lyrics speak about letting go. The melody does the same. Form and content align perfectly here. 3. Stable harmony. Vulnerable melody. The chords remain relatively safe, but the melody consciously chooses vulnerability. This creates an inner tension. Without drama, it's so subtly executed that many listeners don't even consciously register it. 4. Psychological effect. That descending line feels like acceptance, fatigue, and emotional honesty. This is not a grand gesture. This is a small emotion, and that's precisely why it resonates. Why does this moment elevate Pamela? It prevents the song from becoming slick or predictable. It adds depth without complexity. This is a mature compositional choice. Less is more. That single moment makes it clear that Pamela isn't built on hooks alone, but on emotional precision. And that precisely is what gives Pamela its timeless class. 5. Production and arrangement. Pamela has a polished late 80s sound without feeling dated. In fact, many Toto hits are so irresistible precisely because of their 80s production. They showcase the best that decade had to offer sonically. Synths dominate the soundscape. Guitars function more as texture than statement. Steve Lukather gets a brief moment to cut loose in the instrumental bridge, but otherwise the song stays firmly on the rails. Everything fits, nothing grates, though the overall sound does have slightly more edge than Rosanna. 6. Lyrics. Perspective and content. The lyrics of Pamela are introspective and almost resigned. Themes include letting go, distance, and emotional maturity. Unlike Rosanna, there is no blame and no drama. Emotional stance, internally focused. The narrator reflects on himself. The pain is quiet and accepted. The lyrics suggest growth, not struggle. Functionally, the simplicity of the lyrics leaves room for melody. The words act as carriers, not as distractions. Pamela is a song about acceptance, not conflict. 7. Cultural impact. Pamela was a major hit, especially in Europe, popular with a broad audience, even beyond Toto's core fan base. The song has a less mythical status than Rosanna, yet almost everyone recognizes it immediately and can sing along. The album The Seventh One was both a commercial and creative success, featuring not only Pamela, but also tracks like Mushanga and Anna. Pamela remains a perfectly produced pop song, maybe a bit low on risk, but superbly composed and performed. Rosanna wins on ambition, innovation, and historical weight. Pamela wins on emotional subtlety and melodic psychology. Two iconic Toto songs, two iconic female names. One an absolute Toto classic, the other perhaps more of an underrated gem. Now that I've placed these two songs side by side, my final choice goes to Pamela. A photo finish, because both songs are brilliant, but when it comes to lyrics and melody, I personally lean just a little more toward Pamela. It's remarkable what a single descending melodic line in a chorus can do to a person. And that was Toto. That was Rosanna versus Pamela. Which of these two songs would you choose? Let me know in the comments below this video, or play along by voting in the poll in the post tab. I'm genuinely curious to see which one is your favorite. You can listen to Rosanna, Pamela, and all the other music featured in the YouTube series on Spotify via the playlist. I've also added Mushanga, simply because it's such a great song. And make sure to follow the channel on Facebook and Instagram for updates, because I'll follow you if you follow me. All the links are right below this video. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Tell a friend about the channel. Why not? That's always appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. And in the meantime, drop the needle, press play, and remember, we're only in it for the music.